monsters, monsters, monsters.
Hello and welcome to episode 45 of the podcast devoted to the classic and sometimes not so classic genre cinema of yesteryear. What's the name of the podcast?
The Bride of Monster Kid Radio.
And I am your writer, host, and producer, Derek M. Cook, sitting next to the lovely
Beth Cook,
who is the co-host of this week's episode, where we're going to talk a little bit about some of the con experiences and October stuff we've been doing lately, and it's been awesome. But first, I want to tell you the music that you're hearing right now is from a surf band called Cryptide. It's from their album Surf Metal. The song is called Iced Surf. You can check them out on Bandcamp. Look up cryptidesurf.bandcamp.com or follow the link in the show notes over at monsterkidradio.net. You're going to hear the song in its entirety at the end of this episode. But to get to the end, you got to go through all this cool stuff we've got in the middle. We're going to be talking about cons and October activities.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It really is. For monster kids, man, we love our monsters. Yeah, that just blew my eardrum. I hope it didn't blow yours, listeners. But if it did, well, blame Night of the Living podcast or some other podcast. It's not us. Anyway. Now, we've been busy. We've been really busy. And before we get into anything, I just want to say thank you again to all of y'all's patience for allowing us to kind of kick back and take a mental break last week with everything going on. I appreciate all the support and the messages and everything that's come in about that. So thank you. But I don't want to get into that because really, like Beth just sang, it is the most wonderful time of the year.
It is. It's our favorite time of the year. And before we do get into that, for my part, thank you, Monster Kids. All the nice messages and just support and love from everybody has been really great. We are moving forward. I think we're finally getting in the right direction with some of my health challenges and moving forward so that we can continue to do all this spooky stuff we love and live this spooky life we love so much. And we really appreciate all the love and support from you guys. It means a lot.
Now, of course, it would not be an episode of Bride of Monster Kid Radio if we don't have Mark Matzke's Beta Capsule review. So that's going to be coming up in this episode as well. Plus, and I'll admit, maybe I did kind of guilt people into doing it, but I appreciate that they did. David Heath called in his thoughts on the HP Lovecraft Film Festival and CthulhuCon, and Ricardo Delgado called in about Godzillafest. So while Beth and I are talking about our experiences, we're going to kind of break things up a little bit with their con experiences. But first, we're going to get to Mark Matzke. And to get to that, well, we got this.
This is the manager speaking. Give me your attention for 60 seconds. In a few days, we will bring you something new that's never been to town before. You will actually see, at this theater, in person, not a movie, a man buried alive. You will be able to see him in the grave through a specially constructed viewing tube. Since I am unable to admit you free, all I can do is urge you to see this truly amazing and unbelievable sight. We will give a bottle of My Sin perfume to any girl who can look into the grave and not faint. We will have an ambulance on call. If you look into this grave, you will remember it the longest day you live. Thank you, management.
They have never lived before as they live now. One man has already died, the other was never born. Both exist in a world between life and death. Both long to be human. Neither can ever be. Dracula versus Frankenstein. 10 dead men's bodies were used to fashion Dr. Frankenstein's infamous creature. Tens of dozens of victims have kept Count Dracula alive for 3 centuries. Only one of these beings will survive their meeting. Dracula versus Frankenstein. Brand new thrills, brand new horror, brand new shock. Dracula versus Frankenstein, in color, rated GP.
Live from the Land of Light in Nebula M78, home of the mighty Ultra Heroes, it's Monster Kid Radio's Beta Capsule Review. Ultraman Taro, Episode 5, Parent Star, Child Star, First Star. Original air date May 4th, 1973. When we last saw Ultraman Taro, he was in imminent danger, sucked into a vacuum tornado generated by flying monsters King Tortoise and Queen Tortoise. He escapes, but with depleted energy, so the kaiju continue to exact revenge and finally find the eggs that had been stolen from them. To assist the monster parents in transporting the eggs back home, ZAT comes up with Operation Basket. But Commander Smith of the Far East branch of the Terrestrial Guard arrives at headquarters asking ZAT to eliminate King Tortoise and Queen Tortoise, since they're a nuisance to his base on Oron Island. Captain Asahina refuses, opting to move forward with Operation Basket, but when ZAT leads the turtles back to Oron Island, they find a dreadful surprise waiting for them. The 5th episode of Ultraman Taro continues the series' strong start with a thoughtful and sometimes gut-wrenching script, complemented by a rich assortment of visual effects. ZAT finds itself in a no-win position, trying to thread the needle between defending Tokyo from the turtles and defending the turtles from the military. And at the same time, Taro suffers a crisis of conscience after apparently killing Queen Tortoise in battle. Remarkably, the heavy ethical dilemmas are balanced with light-hearted, whimsical moments, giving viewers of all ages something to enjoy, if not ponder. To top it all off, Taro receives assistance from the Land of Light in an unexpected twist, which harkens back to series of yore. An exclamation point at the end of a brilliant, and perhaps even classic, two-part story. For Bride of Monster Kid Radio's Beta Capsule Review, this is Mark Matzke reporting.
Caves of the bat demons. They are waiting for you. They are longing for your blood. And they hope you'll drop in to join them in horror of the blood monsters. A new, a ghastly journey into the weird world of the undead. You will feel your flesh crawl and tingle as creeping creatures slither out of the night to satisfy their unholy cravings. But I warn you, don't come to see horror of the blood monsters alone. Bring a friend, bring a fiend, bring your nerve. Horror of the blood monsters in weird color. Rated GT.
Make your Halloween season extra special this year. Join other fans of monster movies from across the nation at the Monster Bash Conference, October 10th through the 12th at the Pittsburgh Marriott North. It's a 3-day festival celebrating classic horror and science fiction films. Guests of honor include Gary Clark, the teenage werewolf in the film How to Make a Monster, actress Barbara Wilson from the movies Invasion of the Animal People, Blood of Dracula, The Flesh Eaters, and more. Plus, from the original Dark Shadows TV show, meet Catherine Lee Scott and Sharon Smith. John Russo, the co-writer and actor from the original Night of the Living Dead, will be set up too. TV producer Bill Diamond will be shooting footage for his documentary series on monster book and magazine cover artist Basil Gogos, and have a great display of original art. Get autographs and enjoy a 3-day film festival and special events. Explore over 100 vendor tables with vintage monster toys, comic books, monster magazines, Blu-rays, DVDs, monster t-shirts, model kits, original movie posters. The Marriott will be bursting at the seams with cool stuff from our childhood. Admission can be purchased for $25 a day at the door or $60 for all 3 days. You can save more by ordering your 3-day admission in advance at monsterbash.us. That's monsterbash.us. Monster Bash, the conference and expo, October 10th through the 12th, 2025 at the Pittsburgh Marriott North. If you want to stay, ask for the special Monster Bash rate at the Marriott.
Oh my gosh, that just makes me want to go to Monster Bash even more, you know. For those of us who have never had the privilege before, I cannot wait. And I think 2026 has got to be the year that you take me.
For those of us who have been, yeah, Monster Bash is like pilgrimage, man. You got to go. If you're a monster kid and you're able to pull it off, highly recommend you go to Monster Bash. No, I've never been to the October Bash. The bash that I've always gone to has been the Summer Bash, but I've always heard the October Bash is awesome too. And just that's next weekend. It's next weekend.
Okay, so 53 weeks is what you're saying.
If we wait for October. If we're going to go during the summer, that's like in June or something.
Both is good.
Well, both would be great. So, hey, you know, listeners, I always put a call to action out at the end of the episode about sharing the episode, blah, blah, blah. I would really like one of you really smart monster kids to develop like a transporter or something so that Beth and I can just zip around the country hitting all the cons, you know, because really the hard part is the travel, the fact that we're all separated. So really, instead of joining Patreon this month, if there's a scientist out there, just do a teleporter for us instead. What do you think?
See, that's the real answer. They know that if we all got together in the same place at the same time, we'd solve all the world's problems. Us monster kids, you know? So that's why scientists are out there like, you gotta keep them separated. No? Oh, okay.
So Beth is trying to get copyright struck on here, so that's your song.
Beth doesn't sing well enough to get copyright struck on some of these. The 90s are coming back, man. The 90s are coming back.
Yeah. Call me when the 80s make their third term around.
No, we don't talk about that.
What are you talking about? You got the Monster Squad, man.
Okay, we'll bring that along, but...
And a lot of those 80s horror movies are now considered classics, which is weird, but that's what you see at a lot of the cons that we've gone through.
Gut punch.
And just to kind of briefly talk about probably the first horror convention that we went to so far this year was Mad Monster Party. We went for one day. Mad Monster Party, Arizona, they have other events as well. And we were able to go because one of our listeners hooked us.
Such a dear. We love you. We love you.
And it was great to kind of dip our toe into the horror convention scene in Arizona. Now, Mad Monster Party is a bigger con. Like I said, they have events around the country and some other spots, so it's a little bit more corporate. And it felt that way. But I do what I always do when I go to a convention, whether it's comics or horror or whatever, and that's find all the indie creators.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's really the most fun part for me.
That's what I go for, whether it be books or movies or artwork. I just love to see what people come up with, and I love just to see what the human brain can create and what it's inspired to do from other, creative human brains. And art begets art.
Everything is a remix. And I love that this community, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, and I don't know why this is, and quite frankly, I don't care why it is. I love that the genre stuff, the genre conventions, the genre fans are the ones that seem to make the most stuff. You don't see this happening at a Dirty Dancing reunion. You don't see this happening at...
Because you've been to so many Dirty Dancing.
I'm just saying...
Why you gotta put baby in the corner, Derek? Why you gotta put baby in the corner?
I'm just saying the romantic comedy crowd doesn't have a twice yearly convention that we call...
That you know of.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's not a romantic comedy convention crowd. But you get horror fans and sci-fi fans together, and they're like, hey, look at my model. Hey, look at this piece of artwork. Look at this merch. Look at this purse. Look at this shirt. Look at what I made. Look at this movie I made. And I just realized, and we hadn't talked about this before I hit record, I actually chatted with a filmmaker at Bad Monster Party. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped and talked to the filmmakers, the director behind the Bloodsucka Jones.
These look so much fun.
And I have the Blu-rays. I got them.
Oh, you did buy them. Oh, good. Well, that's going to have to be, maybe that's a Patreon special then, you know?
Well, I started watching Run and then life kind of got in the way, so I haven't finished it.
Right.
But Bloodsucka Jones, they're low-budget horror comedies, at least the first one is. And I did chat with him for a few minutes. So, you know what? Let's drop that audio in here in a second. But before I do that, was there anything else about Mad Monster Party that kind of caught you?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the one that had a whole haunted house in it.
That's right.
And I was so impressed. So if you're in the valley, if you're here in the Phoenix Valley or close to it even, I really encourage you to go check out the Terra Tolleson. They got multiple haunted attractions. They managed in just a section of a ballroom, not even the whole hotel ballroom. We're talking about a small section of it with very few props and things, some fantastic makeup and costumes, but very little in the way of set dressing. And they got a couple scares out of me, which if you know is not the easiest thing to do, because after a while you get a little desensitized by going through these things, as much as I have. So I was really impressed. They got Derek a little bit, which is a little easier to do. But his size means he can usually see stuff coming. So,
My size,
there's trade-off on that too.
my size makes me a target.
Yes,
on me.
they do like to get the big guys when they see that he's a little nervous. But they did a fantastic job. So congratulations to the Terra Tolleson people. But also, you guys got to go out and support them. It's a local home haunt, not one of these big corporations that, is killing the industry. They are doing the good work here.
So they're not a home haunt.
Well, they're not a home haunt. Sorry.
Yeah.
They are homegrown, if you will. That's what I should say. They're not a home haunt. They are a business and full size and everything. I believe they've got like food and merch and all the stuff out from looking at their website. I have not been to their full size haunt, but if the mini one that they set up in the ballroom was any indication, boy, are you in for a treat.
It was fun.
If I can get out, it's a little ways out there for us, but I am already plotting on how I'm going to get out there to see the full-size thing this season.
It was a lot of fun. I will say that they did ask if you wanted no contact or full contact. So I suspect the main haunt does have that as an option as well. So just know that going in.
Yeah, I believe they do have options, and from looking at their site, they even have like a no-touch necklace or something.
That
they have.
said,
So
when I did, we said, give us the full deal.
Yeah.
They didn't touch me at all.
Yeah, see?
So, yeah. So, yeah, that was fun.
So it was really fun, and what a neat thing to put in the middle of a ballroom in a hotel, when it was 110 degrees out. It didn't exactly feel like haunting weather, but they did a fantastic job, and I was really impressed.
We sat in on part of a Q&A with Tracy Lords. Yeah. And this, and we'll talk about this actually towards the end. There were no panels. There was just celebrity Q&As.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Just no panels. But anyway.
I'd like to see more panels for conventions where they're charging for admission.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like otherwise it's just like a Costco membership if you're just charging to let people come in and buy more stuff. So I would like to see more panels on conventions where they're charging admission.
Whereas it did feel like Mad Monster Party it was an autograph show with a handful of Q&As. So I had a great time.
And a ton of vendors.
That's Bloodsucka Jones! Waka!
All right, listeners, I am at Mad Monster Party, and I pulled out my recorder for the very first time because I wanted to talk to an independent filmmaker who is selling his movies here. We are talking to Justin Armao, who is the man behind the Suckaverse. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and this is awesome. I am always drawn to independent filmmakers, independent film, that sort of thing. And I'm seeing a whole bunch of DVD, or these are Blu-rays, sitting on your table. What is the Suckaverse?
All of our movies have characters that cross over from one another, all based around Bloodsucka Jones, who's the mofo with the killer afro. He's like kind of like Shaft, got a 1970s afro with a turtleneck and a blue leisure suit. And all the movies revolve around, the first two movies revolve around him. And the first movie is like vampires, like our ode to Lost Boys. The second was like our ode to like every zombie movie we've ever loved. And then we did science fiction. And then in each movie, like further movies, he just owns a restaurant like that he bought. In one movie, he owns a restaurant that he bought from Kurt Russell. In another movie, he's downgraded and he just owns his diner. So eventually he probably owned a taco stand or a hot dog cart. But many of the characters cross over from one to another. They're all really funny. They've all won multiple film festivals, multiple awards, and yeah, they're really very bloody too. Yeah.
So these are firmly genre films. You were telling me one of them is kind of like a sci-fi-ish thing, but they all connect through different characters.
Yes, they all connect through. Bloodsucka Jones is in everyone. Different films have different characters, and sometimes actors cross over into different parts. It's great. I mean, it's grown because people just kind of fall in love with one movie and then they see another and they see the same character in that movie, but they're doing something different, and it's really become a big behemoth of craziness, really. Yeah.
So they're on Blu-ray, but I heard you telling a potential customer that they're also on streaming.
They're on streaming. If you just follow Bloodsucka Jones on Instagram, you can message us and find out where they're streaming. Tubi, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Real Shorts. So many, like 20, 30 streaming sites. I don't even know the names of all of them now, but yeah.
Are these all feature-length films?
All feature-length, yes.
Are these like your entry into filmmaking, or what is your background with filmmaking?
My background, I started out doing extra work. So I did like 300 movies and TV shows. So I was like on Boy Meets World. I was in Showgirls and Clueless and Seven and on 90210 and Melrose Place and all that. And then I started doing commercials, and then my friend did a short film, and I kind of fell in love with doing it. So I made my own short film with a high-8 camera and fell in love with movie making. And then like 25 years ago, we made a movie, and I got custody of my daughter, and we could not finish it. So we never finished it. But during that time, I wrote Bloodsucka Jones. And then 8 years later, we decided to make it. And then here we are, 15, 16, 17 years later. Yeah.
You mentioned that you've won some awards and that sort of thing. What has been the reaction critically to what you're doing here?
Huge. Like we've got kids they'll take it to the hotel room and they have Blu-ray players, and they'll come back the next day and they'll buy the rest of the movies. It's really heartfelt. People like young kids, like because we have some girl-centric ones and science fiction ones about 9-year-old girls who curse a lot, and they come and say, "Oh, that's their favorite movie." Like they plastered their door, like their bedroom door, with things from the movie. We've had people cosplay. We've had 2 people get tattoos. And so, yeah, it's just growing.
Is it going to continue to grow? You've got more in the works, maybe?
Definitely. We actually just finished a movie called Party of Darkness. It's a horror anthology. It's our most expensive movie. It's all of our filmmaker friends. And it's one of the greatest anthologies I think ever made. It's so funny and so fun. Really bloody, and Glenn Plummer is in it. He was in Colors, and he was in Showgirls, and Robert Mukes, and Felissa Rose, who's been in everything, and Sean Whalen, and our most expensive, and it's going to come out by Halloween, hopefully. Yeah.
So we talked about streaming. You've got stuff at the convention. If people wanted to buy a Blu-ray, is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, if you want Bloodsucka Jones 1 or 2 on Blu-ray, you can just go to Amazon. You go on Xanadu, Hellfire. It's only on Etsy currently. And then Blue Murder you can get through our Instagram. So if you can just go to Bloodsucka Jones Instagram, and you can get VHS or Blu-ray of Blue Murder, or a box set. We actually sell a box set of all the movies. And it comes with autographs and trading cards and coasters and an Afro pick and endless amount of cool garbage, you know.
You say cool garbage. I think this stuff is awesome. I'm seeing buttons or pins. I see the movies. I see the box set down there. This is awesome. I want to wish you the best of luck with your movie, man. Or your movies. This looks incredible.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, great. Next up,
What do you want? You want Ricardo or you want David? You want Godzillafest or Lovecraft?
well, what comes next in order?
Well, they actually all happen like the same week.
Okay, well then just surprise me.
Hey, everybody. My name's David Heath, and I am one of the 3 hosts of the People's Guide to the Cthulhu Mythos podcast. And I'm just talking about the 2025 HP Lovecraft Film Festival. A little bit of a caveat here. I am one of the few people that goes to film festivals and did not see a single movie. In fact, because of work schedule, I didn't even make it to the Friday. I was there and I made every reading as well as panel on the Saturday and Sunday. And we had a really good reading. John Turley, to start off with, did, among other things, a sea shanty, as well as Adam Bolivar, who is one of my mom's most favorite poets, and she's not listening to this, so I got his newest book for Christmas for her. And so he did alliteration poetry, which is pre-Saxon invasion, where the poems start out with the same letters. And then Garrett Cook read from one of his stories. So it's a really good reading to start off the film festival. And then there was several others, including one by, in the next hour, our guest of honor, Cassandra Kaw. Really, like I said, really good reading. A great one by Francis Pye, who did basically, I don't want to spoil it, but it was a kind of a zombie hair story. And it's a really good one also by our friend Walker. And she did this amazing short story from a book that they both recently did. For the rest of the panels, I did a panel. I was part of a panel where we talked about the dreams of David Lynch and how it sort of is like the Lovecraftian Greenland. I just had all of a sudden, and right in the middle of the night before, I couldn't get my head around how exactly we're going to do this panel and what the main theme is. And a dream, I just got up out of bed in the middle of the night and realized that sort of David Lynch's life and movies, the theme is that sometimes there's just not a solid answer. And if you see any of his interviews, then you definitely see he 90% of the questions he was asked said, nope, I'm not going to answer that. So it was a really good tribute. This was the first film festival or Lovecraft Film Festival since he passed. There was also a really good one with Ken Hyde and Scott Adam Gladzy and a few other people. Cody Goodfellow, who talked about drugs and how that appeared in both Lovecraft writings and horror writing in the mythos, but also in the games, role-playing games, and how difficult it can be sometimes to put something such a plot-moving device into role-playing games. And then my co-host, as well as Cassandra Kaw, as well as the writer Peterson who wrote Better Living Through Alchemy, they did a querying of Lovecraft, which was a really good sort of how could something written by someone who obviously had some very incorrect philosophies about people and about sexuality, how this could be used in a positive way in the LGBT plus community. And then finally, there was a panel with basically representing, so not only gay culture, but representing and people of different ethnicities, how they can take Lovecraft and cosmic horror, especially in this time. So yeah, there was great readings, great panels, and I really enjoyed it, and we definitely wish that Beth and Derek could make it, and hopefully next year. And everybody out there, love from Portland.
You got to get David back on the show at some point, talking about something Lovecraft Howard related. Or
Love that guy.
yeah, we'll come up with something. So that happened the same weekend as Gathering of the Ghouls.
Okay. You can see why we need you guys, our roving reporters, or if you can help us come up with a better name for it that's spookified, I would love that. But we need your help because until that transporter's created, and frankly, even with the transporter, we just can't be everywhere all at the same time. And we do want to cover everything for you. So,
You know, it just occurred to me, this whole transporter idea might be a terrible idea. I've seen The Fly.
oh, I was thinking Tuvix.
Oh, Star Trek. Okay. It took me a second to get there. Okay.
Is that not what you think of when you think transporters?
Well, I do, but I was trying to keep it in the classic monster realm, so The Fly is where I went.
I know, but even gruesome, I'd love to look like Jeff Goldblum.
I'm talking the original Fly.
Oh, no, that's terrifying.
So Gathering of the Ghouls is a big up-and-coming convention. It's the third annual gathering this year, and it was put on by the Terror Trader, which we've talked about in the past. They're a horror store. They're a horror store. They're probably the biggest in the area. There are a few others as well. But Terror Trader is an amazing shop.
Yep.
It is set up like, well, you know, like when you go into a flea market and there are different vendors set up selling things and they have like one simple cash register to check out at.
It's like that.
It's basically like that, except it's all spooky.
Yeah.
It's all horror. It's all homemade stuff. And it's amazing. And Gathering the Ghouls was something that they started a few years ago, and it has grown so big. We haven't been to the first two, but the third one, they had to move out to Rawhide, which is a big complex out in Chandler, Arizona, and where we haunted last year. So we had a little bit of PTSD going out there, and they had it set up in a big facility where they do shows and things like that. I wished there was just a better way to cool the room.
Well, and in fact, we did find out that the previous day, their coolers had gone completely down, and they were really having some issues with things. It is an issue down here that, you know, it's really hot. Places will attempt to use things like swamp coolers, which if you're from the southeast, you know what swamp coolers are. It's just too hot down here to use swamp coolers past about 90 degrees. They don't really work because they work with pulling moisture out of the air, and there is none. So that's not going to work down here. Even with the air, quote unquote, on the next day when we went, it was still pretty warm. People were getting pretty sweaty. I feel like maybe complimentary water or something might have been a way to go for that. Maybe a better way to cool, or maybe even just a different location. I don't know. It's on the reservation there at Rawhide, so I'd really love to see them take that space at Rawhide and be able to do some major improvements to it, both in terms of cooling, but also just rebuilding some of the traditional older structures and using it as a way to really educate the public about the local culture and stuff. I'd love to see more done with that. It's something where when I have more time, I would actually be interested in looking into the process down here. We're changing things up and adjusting things and seeing if I can't help the tribe maybe a little bit. I've done some similar work with that when I worked up in the Pacific Northwest, and we were able to, you know, find some grants and things so that they could move forward. And I always think that's good when you can move forward and help people share their culture and share stuff. And, you know, we're all about sharing our culture here at Monster Kid Radio, our monster culture. So
is this a culture? Do we have a culture?
I think so. I think our our love for monsters and all that monsters teach us about the acceptance of ourselves and others. I think that's a culture. Wouldn't you say so, Monster Kids?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know. So, Gathering of the Ghouls, I did enjoy our time there.
Me too.
I really did. The vendors were all wonderful. This is something that I really appreciated. the vendors at Mad Monster Party, the vendors at Gathering of the Ghouls, and the vendors we're going to talk about here later, they were all phenomenal.
Yes.
They were friendly. They weren't pushy. They wanted to talk about their stuff. And they recognized some of the classic horror stuff that we had going on.
Yes.
I was wearing my Crestwood House shirt, which is available for sale for $40, size up to 7XL. I was wearing my Crestwood House shirt and got comments and compliments on it. You had your Creature from the Black Lagoon purse going.
Yep.
We bought a Creature from the Black Lagoon jacket at Mad Monster Party.
That is where I got my jacket. Okay. Oh, I love this jacket, you guys. It's insane. It's so good.
And the vendors were wonderful. And I appreciate that their knowledge of horror isn't just, hey, Terrifier's selling this here. It's, oh my gosh, that's Frankenstein. Oh my gosh, that's the creature.
Or even to the point of going, that's Frankenstein's monster, and they actually know the culture. And this is what I'm saying when I'm saying it's a culture. In a culture, there are usually set norms and facts and things that are directly associated with it. I feel that way about our monster culture. And the respect that these vendors were giving it made me want to spend money with them.
And, one thing that Terror Trader's known for is having some places to take photos in their store. Selfie stations or whatever. I don't know what you call them. I don't know what the kids call them these days. They have a whole room set up like a room from Saw, but they have like a Yeti and they have like a Frankenstein and a Nosferatu. And they brought some of this stuff out to Gathering of the Ghouls, and they were getting just as much attention as the Nun that was set up in another area. And I thought that was cool too, that was fun. And I had a decent time. Not a lot of places to sit down at Gathering of the Ghouls, especially for some of the events where you're just kind of watching things happen on a slightly elevated stage. And again, no panels, but there were some events like a pinup show, that sort of thing. We didn't really watch a lot of those because there wasn't a lot of room for us to sit. And as we've talked about in the past, Beth has some mobility issues, and just kind of standing around made things a little difficult. That said, I'm glad we went. And I kind of hope they find an even bigger facility next time. We did not spend a lot of time with the celebrities. We kind of cruised through the celebrity area. And Amanda Bierce actually called us and said, hey, how are you? It was really nice. And that was about it.
These individual artists and their contribution and the ways that they're making so many people smile and just have a little laugh, have a little grin, in what are, some hard, dark times. There's so much going on in our world, and it really doesn't matter who's on what side. This is a hard time, and we should all support each other, especially as monster kids, and love on each other. And bringing a little smile to somebody's face is one of the nicest things you can do right now. So I really appreciate the smile.
So let's go to Ricardo calling in about Godzillafest. What do you think?
All right, let's do it, Ricardo.
Scream.
Hello, Monster Kid radio fans. This is Ricardo Delgado, leading a report about Godzillafest 2025. I had a blast. The hallways were crammed with kaiju toys, action figures, models, posters, you name it, it was there. I had a booth, and it was all I could do to keep myself behind my table without running around and see all of the cool stuff that was abounding. Also, there was a few people that were dressed up as Godzillas, using like this incredible inflatable technology that was astonishing and made you feel like a kid again. And I think that Godzillafest is going to turn into the preeminent West Coast Kaiju Fest. I loved it. I'll be back next year. I'll have a table there. I hope to see you all running around and buying all kinds of cool Godzilla stuff. They had Saturday night in particular was amazing. They screened Terror of Mechagodzilla, and the entire weekend was just packed with people. Monster Kid radio fans and listeners, check it out.
So add Godzillafest to the list of conventions we have to go to.
I mean, eventually we're just going to be traveling 52 weeks a year, aren't we?
Okay, you know what? I want the teleporter back, or the transporter back. But I want a clone option.
I just want high-speed trains.
That's, sure, whatever, realistic, blah, blah, blah.
Because then we can rest in between events on the high-speed train.
Oh, okay.
And underwater. Like, I want to get on a train and go, like, underwater to Japan. That would be so cool.
Oh, boy.
And, like, see all the fish along the way.
Would you be able to actually see them if we're going that fast?
Giant purple monsters. They're big, so yeah.
Okay. So the day the Rez Stood Still, and I think this might have been their third annual event as well.
I believe so, yes.
This was the smallest of the three. Free admission, which...
Love that.
Love that. And it was held on the reservation, one of the reservations around here, up in the Scottsdale area. It was put on by the Wooden Head Collective, and I talked to Dom, who is from Wooden Head Collective, and he's telling me that this is pretty much the one thing they do a year. They just focus on this. First of all, whoever was in charge of the music, they were ripping through some Iron Maiden stuff.
I love the music.
Yeah. You know I'm a film score guy, I'm a surf guy, I'm a rap and hip hop guy, but I love me some Iron Maiden. Up the irons, man.
Oh, the ambiance was really, really nice. It was a really nice feeling environment. You felt very welcome.
Yeah.
It felt very safe, too. I always appreciate when they're checking props and they're checking... you go to these cons and people are going to have quote-unquote weapons, but they're not weapons. They're your prop that goes with your cosplay or whatever. So I really appreciate when security is checking those things ahead of time because, just in case. And were they zip tying them?
Yep.
To mark them as safe, so that made it really easy for everybody to look and go, oh, it's zip tied, it's safe, that's great.
Yep.
They had some great cameo guests making cameo appearances.
What do you mean?
Throughout the weekend, they had some different creatures.
They had a lot of cosplayers come out. There are a handful of cosplayers down here. It's a pretty...
And they're giving people the chance to take pictures and meet and greet them, which I thought was really nice.
Including Return of the Giving Dead.
Yes.
And I didn't do pictures with them because I was talking with Dom, but they were doing a Something to Tide You Over Creep Show cosplay, which was pretty cool. There were some other cosplayers there. We didn't see Cholo Michael Myers.
I did not see Cholo Michael Myers, but I hear he was fabuloso.
Yeah, look him up online. It's a brilliant cosplay. But there were a handful of cosplayers there. We started to see some of the same vendors that we saw at Gathering, which is okay. But the vendors here all seem to be in such a good mood.
They are, and they actually, a few recognized us and said hi, and, I thought that was sweet.
That was new for me down here.
To be recognized?
Yeah, because, we don't have the in-person stuff that we do, or that we used to do up in the Portland area, right?
That's true.
So...
I feel like there are fewer corporate-style vendors down here at shows, and I appreciate that.
Not a lot of people just selling 3D printed dragons. Just say that. We did bump into the Crazy Horror Lady.
Oh, yeah.
And that was cool because she and I follow each other on Facebook. And when I mentioned who I am, she's like, oh, yeah, I know you. And we swapped business cards. And I thought that was cool.
Oh, yeah.
So we bumped into her, and they had concessions there as well. And after over a year of living here...
So happy I got my fry bread. Oh, just like Grandma used to make.
Beth has been wanting fry bread since we moved down here. And I am a terrible partner, and I haven't gotten her any.
It's not his fault. It was so good. And the grandma that was in charge there, and she was teaching the grandkids to make it. I mean, grandkids, they were like in their 20s and stuff. It's not like small children frying things in oil. These were adults. But passing on the traditions like my grandmother passed on to me. And then she traded me because she asked if I was making my own at home. And I said no. And she chided me, which was the perfect response. So I will be... I was making an attempt, I think, for Thanksgiving. That might be the thing that I bring along to Thanksgiving dinner for the big family one. But it was delicious. It was so good. I miss it so much, and I miss that part of my culture so many many times, especially since my grandmother passed away on Halloween because she knew what she was doing a few years ago. And yeah, it was pretty wonderful. It was a good experience. I will definitely 100% go next year.
I'm sorry, I completely tuned out because I heard you say it's not his fault and it's just been playing in my red over here, Jen. What did you just say? I'm kidding. It was cool. I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed
it. It was set up in a community center and it was just really cool. And I'm going to reach out to Dom and see if we can get involved with doing some stuff next year with them. I want to reach out to all of them and see if we can do some stuff with them next year. And the next thing that we're going to talk about, I think we started laying the groundwork, dropping some seeds about getting involved.
I think we did.
But before we get to that, again, just to kind of wrap up the con part of this, panels, man.
More panels.
More panels. And maybe I'm spoiled. Maybe it's not a thing down here.
Well, but maybe it needs to be. I think the con culture is growing down here, especially the indie con culture for smaller independent cons. They're learning how to do it. They're learning how to put stuff together.
And we got the stores. We got Terror Trader, Evil Izzy's, Horror Monger.
That is to be putting in some panels instead, putting in more panels.
I would love to see more panels. Not just because I want to apply to be on a panel and get in for free, but because I think that's part of the convention experience. That's part of the reason why I enjoyed the conventions so much up on the Pacific Northwest. You heard David. He didn't see any movies at the film festival because that's all he did was panels.
There you go.
And readings. And how cool is that? And he had such a good time. Now, I would still want to make sure I saw a movie or two, but still. Panels, man. Put in some panels. Especially since you've got like a huge podcast down here. I'm not talking about us. Scaredycast had a present at the day the Rez Stood Still. I don't know if they actually broadcast or podcast from the event, but they had a table.
They did.
Up on stage. I don't know what they were doing, but...
That would be, speaking of broadcasting from events, that's definitely something that coming up into this next year, 2026 particularly, that I would be interested in MKR taking a lead in doing is a little more hosting at some of these events and some live broadcasting. And if you guys happen to be around, we'd love to have you as a live guest.
How fun would that be? How fun would that be? All right. Anything else you want to say before we talk about the last thing that we did that's kind of in theme?
Just that we have lots of good cons coming up here throughout October and early November in the area, and then getting into Christmas conventions and stuff. So there's really no reason to be out there handing over your money to corporate giants that don't give a darn about you when you could buy customized, personalized gift from your local horror creator to give to those that you love this holiday season.
Share that monster love, man. To wrap up this kind of conversation about our con experiences and what we've been doing so far, I thought we'd talk a little bit about what we did Thursday night.
Oh, our Thursday night movie. This has kind of become a semi-regular thing for us.
What do you mean? Oh, the event?
Yeah.
Well, kind of. I mean, it's a regular event the Terror Trader does.
Absolutely. Why don't you tell them about what it is in case they want to join us one Thursday?
So there's the Pollack, is it the Cinemas?
Pollack Cinemas. Mm-hmm.
Pollack Cinemas and Terror Trader. Every Thursday they do a Spook O Rama show. It's just one movie, and they have people up there introducing the movie. There are prizes, there's trivia, which
they do a raffle usually.
They do a raffle, and you and I have taken home trivia prizes.
That's true, we have.
Both times we've gone, and just to kind of let the listeners know, the first time we went to go see it was Friday the 13th, Part 4, and
so good.
not really Monster Kid radio material, but the trivia question was, what other big movie, did Corey Feldman appear in the year this movie was released? And nobody got it right until I threw my hand up and said, do you remember?
No.
Gremlins.
Gremlins! Thank you. I'm like, it's not Goonies. Which one is it? Gremlins. Somebody must have fed me after midnight. I didn't remember.
There you go. And then this movie we went to go see was 1985's Return of the Living Dead, which Beth had never seen.
I had not.
And the trivia question was, what trend did this zombie movie start? I threw my hand up right away. They called on me, and I just said, yeah, I said brains. And so we got, what did we get? We got like a little, the first time we got like a little voodoo doll keychain, and we got like an eyeball, literally a bouncy ball with an eyeball in it from this past week. What else did we get? Like a little monster finger puppet.
A little monster finger puppet, a sticky skeleton that you can like throw at the wall and it like climbs down the wall. Those were always fun as kids. My mom hated those because they left residue on our off-white walls that she couldn't get off. But, you know, if I threw it enough times, then it's just like full finished, right?
Sure.
Luckily, I don't live with my mom anymore, so it's not a problem. I wonder if your mom will mind.
We won't tell her. So some of the raffle prizes are things like a signed picture or other merch related to the movie.
Oh yeah, they've had like home decor, T-shirts, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, different every week, and movies different every week. Well, because obviously you wouldn't want to watch the same movie every week.
Well, I mean, there are some movies I'd watch every week, but yeah.
Anyway, it's a great time with like-minded people.
Tell them about the Pollack Cinemas.
The Pollack Cinemas is a neat space, you know, local cinema. We always love supporting the local, you know, family-owned businesses. The displays that they have are crazy. It's like walking into a mini Madame Tussauds, basically.
With a mini budget.
Well, I don't know if it's so much a mini budget or if it's just that at some point the air failed for a little while and everybody just got a little bit s'mored. Melty, if you get my drift.
Yeah, they've got like displays, dummies, mannequins, all sorts of stuff.
Ton of them.
All over, and they all look like...
They all look like the Temu version of the actors they're supposed to be.
Exactly. It's like...
or Wish.com.
Like, I want a Johnny Depp, you know, Jack Sparrow, Pirates of the Caribbean display, and I'm going to get it on Wish.
This is like...
Oh... It's a little bit creepy.
It's a little creepy, but kind of wonderfully funny too. Yep. And they just have tons and tons of them. I'll tell you, and so it's really, really neat.
Little tiny arcade. Yeah, little tiny arcade. And...
No. I don't think I would say tiny because there's lots. Look, tiny is like when you go to Red Robin and they have 3 games. That's tiny. This place has a dozen or more, and it has several claw machines. Not that I was able to win on them, but that's, you know, only because they were clearly rigged. Any claw machine that I can't immediately win is clearly rigged.
Sure.
Or maybe I had a sinus infection. I don't know, but something was going on. Anyway.
Why are you using your sinuses to run the claw machine?
That's the secret. That's how you do it.
That's so weird. So the weirdest part, though, is at the one end of the hallway are like the past 5 presidents, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Such a weird Nixon.
Yeah. Nixon and Clinton look bizarre.
Poor Gerald Ford.
And, and Jimmy Carter looks bizarre. It's not really the 5 presidents then, is it? If it's that, it doesn't matter. It's bizarre. But they work with Terror Trader and they do Spook O Rama every Thursday night. And
president?
Yes, the presidents, sir. Yes.
The ex-president? Secretly?
Anyway. So they've got like 6 or 7 screens, and they're always bringing in older movies in conjunction with, not in conjunction with the Terror Trader. They are showing a bunch of Halloween movies as well. Ghostbusters, Nightmare on Elm Street.
All month, right?
Yeah, all month long. And then, of course, Spook O Rama's doing stuff as well. And again, I mentioned this at the beginning. You say classic monster movie, most people around here are like, oh, you mean like Friday the 13th? Which I guess technically it is. And we went to go see part 4, you know, it's fine. But like last week, they did Bride of Frankenstein. Now, we didn't get a chance to go because...
That is classic.
Yeah, we didn't go because of what happened. But anyway.
You know, it sounds like they're doing classics for all generations.
Sure.
Which is a nice way to do it.
So Return of the Living Dead, it's from 85. It's now 2025. That makes it 40 years old.
No. Nope, can't handle that. Nope.
Okay.
Nope, gonna pretend it's 19.
It's 19 years old?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not a classic?
Because that makes me 24, right?
Sure. I haven't seen Return of the Living Dead.
All right, fine, it's 40 years old. Anyway.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Hey, me either.
And it was a first-time watch for you. And I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a prep before we got into it about where it fits, because we've watched Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
We watched Dawn of the Dead at the theater, at the Hollywood Theater.
No, I love Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead's amazing. And you were like trying to figure out where Return of the Living Dead fits in.
Yeah. It kind of fits in. It's adjacent. It fits in the way that Henry VII fits into the royal line of the Lancastrians.
I don't know what any of that means.
History buffs will know what I mean.
Okay.
It means he was an illegitimate king.
I gotcha. So here's the deal. Here's the very abbreviated version of everything.
They do mention the movie in the movie.
Night of the Living Dead, we all associate with George Romero, right?
Sure.
But he wasn't the only guy behind it.
Okay.
Co-writer and partner of George Romero and all of them, John Russo was one of these guys.
Oh, okay.
John Russo co-wrote Night of the Living Dead. Romero wanted a sequel. Well, Romero was going to do a sequel. Russo was going to do a sequel.
Okay.
So the kind of agreement was they would go off and do their own sequels and not reference each other and kind of start and do their own thing. So Romero went and did Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and all the others.
Less a sequel and more a continuation of the universe.
Well, here's where it gets even weirder.
Okay.
Russo wrote a novel called Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
Then got it turned into a screenplay.
Okay.
And then the studio said, that's nice. We're going to hire Dan O'Bannon to direct it.
Oh, no.
And Dan O'Bannon said, we're rewriting the script.
No.
And at once...
So always explain that. Director and he rewrites the script. That's a different movie.
And at some point...
That's a different heckin' movie.
Romero was approached about being involved in Return of the Living Dead. And he said, no, that's Russo's thing. I'm out. So that's very abbreviated.
He was being respectful. Yeah.
That's very abbreviated. There's probably a lot of intricacies here. So Dan O'Bannon.
Okay.
What else has he directed? Alien. Isn't that nuts?
Okay, now I can kind of... Yeah, okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And he would also go on to do a lot of things in the Lovecraftian vein. He came up with John Carpenter. They did Dark Star together back in 1974, I believe, which is a weird little, totally unlike anything Carpenter ever did movie. Okay. And more of a sci-fi comedy kind of thing. Started as a student film. But anyway, so the references to Night of the Living Dead, not sure who put those in. I've never read the novel that Return of the Living Dead was, so I don't know where that came from, but so Return of the Living Dead kind of became its own thing.
Okay.
And this started a franchise that has had 4 sequels so far, 2 of which had their debuts on the Sci-Fi Channel. Look into that, whatever you want.
You know what, though? If you made your movie, you made your movie, and I give you credit for it.
And there's a remake or continuation in the works right now that news just broke that Devon Sawa has joined the cast. So yeah, so that's
interesting. Okay.
Where Return of the Living Dead came from.
Okay, yeah. I'm not sure how any of that stuff with Sawa has anything to do with what we just watched.
No, not at all. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. The movie itself, we just took 20 minutes to say we watched a movie, then we haven't actually talked about the movie.
What did you think of the movie?
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I really love they're going, from the very first one, the whole, they're going to get you, Barbara. I love that feeling. I love they're breaking in and we got to stop them, or the thing we need is outside. And so somehow we got to distract so we can go get it and make it back. I love that kind of thing. This was a good example of that. There were all kinds of people being idiots about breaking the rules of horror movies, which is fantastic because that's how they get into trouble. And it was just a nice little romp.
What did you think of the addition of the brains to the zombie mythos?
Oh, definitely important. And it's hard to imagine that they didn't do that before now. But, you called the one zombie something. You gave him a name, like he was like Tape or something.
Oh, well, that's not the name I gave him, but they gave Tarman.
Tarman's brains was so beautiful. It was like the face that launched 1,000 zombie ships. When he was like, brains, and I was like, yes! Like, he came up with the idea, it was like, brains, and all the other zombies were like, brains, you're a genius!
Yeah, Tarman is fantastic.
Yeah, the way he, oh my gosh, I would watch all of the B-roll, the extra cuts of him saying brains and other things.
He's such a
So good.
an iconic zombie.
How did you put that much emotion in one word? I'm like, come on.
The movement, the acting, the body movement, the way he walked was just phenomenal.
And he's got this every once in a while tick that breaks into it. And as someone who has muscular tics, it's exactly what it's like. He does a perfect job. Maybe he really has those. I don't know. But I don't think so, because he does a perfectly just beautiful, smooth way of slipping the tics right into his speech.
So, like I said, I hadn't seen this in forever. Probably the last time I sat down to watch it start to finish was back when I was doing the Mail Order Zombie podcast. So that's been forever ago.
Yeah.
I did not remember.
For 14 years.
Yeah. I did not remember that the zombies in this use tools. That the zombies.
Oh, they are such smart zombies. Oh my gosh.
And they run.
And usually I hate that. Because usually I'm like, zombies shouldn't be fast. Zombies should be slow.
Zombies don't run.
But,
this was a different kind of zombie.
This is a different kind of zombie. And they made that clear. And so I think in this case, it works.
Okay.
I don't usually like fast zombies. I'm usually very against that. But, they kind of gave reasoning for it. Also, you got to remember, these are the very first zombies to discover that brains are delicious. So, can you fault them if they're running a little? Because if I was the very first human to discover that dark chocolate was delicious, I'd run too. Even on my bad hip.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd be like, chocolate! Oof! Because I'd fall down. But I'd still run anyway, So, these zombies have ambition. They have heart. They know what they want, and they're going to go out and get it. And nothing's there. They're like, and we can build this dream together. Just zombieing their way through the whole thing,
That's the third time you broke into
song. Less than 6 seconds. I know what I'm doing here. They really are doing that. And might I add, they are not selfish zombies, because they could keep that news to themselves, but they are announcing it to the world. They are letting all the other zombies know just what a delicious find they have found. And I really appreciate that, because too often we're selfish in this world. So thank you, zombies, for showing us, being a good example of how we can be and share in this world, share our resources.
Sure, yeah. Listeners, this is an audio show, so you cannot see how smug she looks right now, how satisfied in herself of coming up with this weird Hallmark-esque message she's taking away from some sort of weird chicken soup for the zombie soul moment here.
I would write that book.
You maybe we should.
Yeah. I think that's all I have to say.
That's all you have to say? Nothing else to say about the movie?
I think you just need to go experience it for yourself.
It was amazing to see it on the big screen. I'm quite done.
Definitely should be seen on the big screen. There are some movies that it doesn't really matter. This one is a big screen movie.
It took a while for it to be available on home media because of music rights, because it's got a killer soundtrack, but when this movie was being made, the music rights situation hadn't been solidified for home media release.
Sure.
And that really affected Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Okay.
Which is not exactly a direct sequel to this.
Why would it be any different than it stands? Well, its older brother was the prince that was promised, and it was supposed to be, and then they even, married it off to the Infanta of Spain, but then the stuff just went, and then we don't know if they actually, it's a whole mess.
So yeah, it was fun to see. I got nothing to that either. Is this another history major? Do we need to have a History Kid Radio spinoff?
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Actually, I do want to do some history lessons about monsters and where they came from, and where before they got into like the original Universal monster movies and stuff. So we definitely might have to talk about that. But we love you, Monster Kids. And, we'd love to have you come out and join us for one of these movies one of these times.
For sure. And that's really where we're going to end on this because really, well, I got to get the show out. But on top of that, the message is find something awesome to do this month and share it with your fellow monster kids.
Yeah.
Either with your own group of friends, your own clear, make some new friends. We're trying to socialize a little bit at these various cons and movie screenings and things like that.
Do the happy.
Or call in and tell us all about it, or send us an email about it. You can call us at 503. That's not correct. You can call us and leave us a voicemail at 360-524-2484. Or you can call and leave us a voicemail at monsterkidradio@gmail.com. You can find this information over on our website at monsterkidradio.net, which is where you're going to find all the show notes and everything that you need to know about Monster Kid Radio, Bride of Monster Kid Radio, and everything else that we're up to. Go check that out. You're going to find links to all of our socials, most of them. I still need to get the Blue Sky link in there, but we're also on Blue Sky in addition to everything else. And our Twitch stream at twitch.tv/monsterkidradio, whereas as of right now, there are movies playing like Frankenstein's Daughter and Dead Man Walking. So go check that out as well. Watch some free movies, and then later this week I'm going to switch it up and start playing some new ones, including the movie Vampire and some other cool stuff. So that's coming up. Have you ever seen Vampire?
No, but I've been reading about it and it looks really cool.
It is a very cool vampire.
Oh, we might have to sit down and watch that one.
We very well may need to. We're also going to find links to Team Death and Death Designs. I have just updated the Death Designs Big Cartel shop.
So many shirts, guys.
deathdesigns.bigcartel.com. You want a Monos shirt, you want a Blackula shirt, a Kaiju shirt. We got even an officially authorized. It's authorized by Christopher R. Mim himself. Celebrate the first 20 movies of the Mimiverse. There's a shirt there for you as well. Check it out at deathdesigns.bigcartel.com. And remember, death is D-E-T-H. D-E from Derek, T-H from Beth. You're going to find links to all of this in the show notes, so make sure you head on over there and check that out. Yeah?
Yeah, remember, these designs are from Derek, mainly from Derek. I'm adding some of my own. We're starting to add some women's clothing as well to our designs, and some, universal clothing that anybody can wear, including your furry little friends. So these are things that we have designed for you specially. You cannot find them anywhere else. It's one of a kind, and just like you, our listeners.
Also, I'm going to make sure there's a link to this. Mark Matzke, the man behind the Beta Capsule review, just appeared on his son's podcast called Bizarre Sunday, where he talked about monsters and ministry. The topic is A Pastor Talks Cryptids. Nice. Mark's going to talk about some of his passions over there, so make sure you check that out and support Mark and Andy, because he's, one of us too. And let him know that you heard about him here on Bride of...
Andy?
Let him know that you heard about him here on Bride of Monster Kid Radio. Bride of Monster Kid Radio is a Team Death production. All original content of Bride of Monster Kid Radio is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 Unported license. You can learn more about Team Death, our other projects like Death Designs, Mail Order Zombie, the Team Death YouTube channel, and more at www.teamdeath.com. Remember, death is spelled D-E-T-H. All previous episodes of this podcast, as well as the original Monster Kid Radio podcast, are available at www.monsterkidradio.net. Please rate and review Bride of Monster Kid Radio wherever you download your favorite podcasts. Iced Surf is copyright 2024 Cryptide. You can find it on their album Surf Metal. You can find that over at cryptidesurf.bandcamp.com. Or again, follow the link in the show notes over at monsterkidradio.net. Check out their entire album and, download it all, buy it all, and let them know that you heard about them here on the podcast. My name is Derek M. Cook.
I'm Beth Cook.
We'll talk to everybody next week.
Ow!
Ciao.